او هم به خاطر از این بود که از کار ناوقت آمد و رابندان شد. به هر ترتیب تشکر از حوصله‌مندی تمام شما عزیزان. I would like to do the acknowledgement again because it's really important that I as an MC acknowledge the country that I am speaking on tonight. Therefore, we begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the Bunurun people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aruzu Rahimi and I'm truly humbled to be among you guys as your MC for this wonderful event tonight. Over the past few years, I have had the privilege of working closely with so many organizations in our Afghan Hazara community, and one of those were one supporting community initiatives and witnessing the first-hand the incredible strength and the brilliant work of Afghan Hazara women across the Victoria. Tonight, I stand here in front of you guys proudly, not just as your MC, but as someone deeply inspired by the stories of you guys and the achievements that we are here to honor this evening. Before we begin, just a quick housekeeping notes that Mr. Mazuri might or might not have mentioned. Please keep the aisles clear to allow movements during the performances and the awards. Photos and videos are most welcome. Just be mindful not to block other people. Restrooms are located on the right-hand side of the venue, and our volunteers are available throughout the night for any assistance that you may require. Thank you so much once again for helping us keep the evening running smoothly. در این برنامه ویژه ما افتخار این را داریم که داکتر صاحب سیما سمر را از نزدیک ببینیم و مهمان ویژه امشب ما باشند. سه شخصیت بزرگ و برجسته را ما امشب در این برنامه داریم. نخست داکتر صاحب سیما سمر، مهمان ویژه امشب و یکی از برجسته ترین شخصیت های حقوق بشر در سطح جهان. سالها تلاش ایشان در زمینه عدالت، سلامت و حمایت از زنان افغانستان نامشان را به نمادی از شجاعت و صداقت تبدیل نموده است. حضور ایشان برای ما افتخار بزرگ است. دکتر صاحب بار دیگر مقدم شما گلباران باد. مهمان دوم ما آقای روح الله نکپا، قهرمان تکواندو و نخستین مدال آور المپیک برای افغانستان، نمادی از پشتکار و افتخار ملی که در این محفل حضور خواهند داشت. و در قسمت سوم دکتر حمیرا رضایی، بانوی فرهیخته و فعال اجتماعی که حضورشان ارزش این برنامه را افزونتر می‌سازد نیز در بین ما حضور دارند. دکتر صاحب از برمنگام یوکی تشریف اوردن، لطفاً به افتخارشان. Tonight's program will include welcome remarks from community leaders and the special guests. We also have reflections on Dr. Sahib Sima Samar's achievement, musical performances, award presentations across multiple categories, a dinner break and special appearance from Olympic champion Mr. Ruhullah Nikpa. We have a very beautiful evening planned for you guys, celebrating the excellence, talent and empowerment within our community, and we hope that you enjoy this evening. I would like to thank Mr. Zabir Mazuri for replacing me for a few minutes. Thank you so much for your insightful speech. Now it's my great pleasure to invite a strong supporter of multicultural communities, Mrs. Cassandra Fernando, Federal Member for Holt, to share a few words with us. Please put your hands together.
How are you all going? I would like to start off by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. Pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. If you live in Hampton Park, Narrabeen South, Limbrook, Lyndhurst, Cranbourne North, South, East, West, going all the way down to Clyde North and Croydon, I am your Federal Member of Parliament. I also want to acknowledge a very good friend of mine, Pauline Richards, Member for Cranbourne, who is here with us tonight. Please give her a round of applause. I would also like to acknowledge all the community leaders around the room who's here tonight as well. It's an absolute honour to join you all here today, a couple of days before the International Human Rights Day, which will be globally marked on the 10th of December. And it is especially meaningful to be here again tonight with Dr. Sima. I had the privilege of meeting Dr. Sima on the weekend and hearing firsthand about the extraordinary work that you do and how you have dedicated your whole life for championing the rights of women and children in some of the most challenging circumstances in the world. The turnout this evening and the warm welcomes she has received across Melbourne South East over the weekend reflects the impact that you have on the lives of our members in our community. One constituent I met today shared with me that he was born in a hospital in Pakistan that Dr. Sima helped to establish, and that without your work, his mother would not have had the access to safe medical care she needed. Today, millions of Afghan women and girls live as refugees in Pakistan, with thousands relying on organisations for healthcare, education and dignity. And millions more remain in Afghanistan, living under the extreme oppression of the Taliban. They have seen their rights, what they have fought for over decades, the right to go to school, the right to work, to move freely, to participate in public life, have been stripped away. Many women cannot step outside their homes, and many cannot speak without fear. I have mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again tonight. Since being elected, I have heard heartbreaking stories every day from families who are desperate to bring their daughters, sisters, mothers to safety. Their pain is real and the fear is profound, and our government will not stand by silently. On Saturday, our government announced a world-first autonomous sanction framework targeting the Taliban, allowing Australia to impose our own sanction and travel bans directly. This builds on Australia's existing sanctions under the United Nations Security Council's Taliban framework by sanctioning 3 so-called Taliban ministers and the so-called Chief Minister, the Chief Justice, for their involvement of the oppression of women and girls. This framework brings Australia's approach to Afghanistan into alignment with the sanctions we apply to Iran, Russia and North Korea. These actions send a clear and a powerful message to the international community is watching, and that it will not be accepted, the oppression of tens of millions of women and girls. Dr. Sima, your leadership and your work have inspired millions from Afghanistan to Sudan, across the Asia-Pacific and far beyond. Your work has changed lives, and your legacy will continue to do so for years to come. We are honoured to have you here tonight, and I want to express my deepest admiration for you, for your courage and for the service of humanity. Can we please give a round of applause? Finally, I would like to thank the Victorian Afghan Associations Network for organising tonight's event and for inviting me to speak. But before I conclude, I want to talk to the ladies in this room. I want to tell you, ladies, please get involved. Get involved with your community. Get involved with making a difference in someone's life. All you need to do is just give a helping hand. So when you walk out these doors today, get involved, start volunteering, do all those sort of things to change someone's life for the better. I would love to visit your country one day, as I have two advisors in my office, my chief of staff, Hafiz John, who's sitting here, and also Nabi Jafiri. I can't see him. Where is he? He's somewhere here. I have two advisors that tell me how beautiful your country is, and inshallah I get to go there and visit your beautiful country and the picturesque country that they keep telling me about. So I really hope and pray that there will be peace in your country. Tashakkur, thank you, enjoy your night.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. That was such an insightful speech by you. Now, I have been strictly told by the organizers to keep the event short and tight as much as I can, and I warmly request the speakers to keep their speeches as short as you can. We now have the privilege of hearing from Professor William Melley, one of Australia's leading scholars on Afghanistan and international affairs. Professor Melley will reflect on Dr. Sima Samar's lifelong contribution to global human rights, her leadership and her impact on generations across the world. Professor Melley, the stage is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Could I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and also express my gratitude to the Victorian Afghan Associations Network for the opportunity to say a few things this evening. I wanted to begin with what I hope people will see as a shocking statistic, and it's about Australia, not about Afghanistan. Until 1980, fully 80 years after the federation of the colonies that created the Commonwealth of Australia, there had only been 4 women members of the House of Representatives. In fact, Afghanistan had a cabinet minister, a female cabinet minister with a specific portfolio before Australia did. Things have changed dramatically since then. But I think the lesson that flows from that is that once the barriers to female participation, both formal and informal, are breached, there's virtually no limitation to what women can achieve and can offer to countries such as both Australia and Afghanistan. Afghan women are a powerful force for good, both in Australia and in the wider world, including Afghanistan. And there are very few more sterling examples of that than Dr. Sima Samar, who was not only a stellar figure in the modern history of Afghanistan, but also a very notable player in the international human rights movement. And in that sense, it's a great privilege, once again, to be able to be with her in Australia. I wanted to make another observation, which is the historical observation. There is a very large scholarly literature on warlords, but there is none on war ladies, and there's a reason for that. Too often what we've seen is that people have been wreckers because it can often be cheaper and easier to be a wrecker than a builder. But in many circumstances where the state has been disrupted and war has broken out, the task of rebuilding has actually fallen into the hands of women. not necessarily because of formal positions that they've occupied, but because of the moral focus that they bring to processes of reconstruction that they are uniquely well equipped to facilitate. And we know from comparative studies in many different countries that female education and female literacy are amongst the most potent factors that can contribute to progress and development, as well as to effective advocacy. And for that reason, our gathering this evening to celebrate the achievements of women in Victoria is one part of a wider project of ensuring that the contributions that women can uniquely make to addressing the problems of a society are properly recognised. And I really celebrate the work of the organisations that have put this evening's gathering together in promoting this idea. The blocking of opportunities for women is one reason why gender apartheid in Afghanistan is such a destructive phenomenon. It's destructive in both an absolute sense, in that it denies the human rights of women. It's also destructive in the instrumental sense, that it denies Afghan society more broadly the opportunity to make use of the talents which women uniquely can make available. Like apartheid in South Africa, it's driven by a mixture of crude stereotypical thinking and also by fear of the latent power of those whom the practitioners wish to suppress. The Taliban, to put it bluntly, are frightened of the women of Afghanistan. And it is to the infinite credit of Afghan women, both within Afghanistan and in the diaspora, that they have contributed to that fear, simply because they offer an alternative vision of how society could develop from the narrow and unsophisticated, the primitive vision of Taliban before. The Taliban approach is also out of step with thinking of a wider world in which raw prejudice has actually been replaced by an understanding of the importance of women's agency. Those we recognise and celebrate tonight are evidence of the power of women's voices. Dr. Sima is one of the most internationally significant of such voices, but she is also a role model for women and men who see human rights and human dignity as key fundamental values which are to be defended in dark times. Finally, I think it's important that we celebrate the Afghan community for the way in which it has actually enriched Australia. Just as Cavaliers in the 19th century and early 20th century played pivotal roles in facilitating internal trade, so modern Afghan Australians are enhancing our human capital. Young Afghan women, supported by older generations, are torchbearers for the future. And for this, we owe the Afghan community a great debt of gratitude. Too often, when we look at new communities in Australia, it is tempting to think that they should be saying thank you to us for having them. Actually, what we should be saying is thank you to you for being prepared to give us your gift.
Thank you so much, Professor Melly, for that amazing reflections on the work and achievement of Dr. Sima. Now, I would love to invite a special guest who came all the way from Birmingham, UK, as I introduced just a few minutes ago. Dr. حمیرا is a medical scientist and the CEO of Mirzaim Therapeutics, where she leads the development of diagnostic and therapeutic for preeclampsia. She is also a prominent human rights advocates and the CEO of Human Rights and the CEO of Education Bridge for Afghanistan, advancing education and empowerment for Afghanistani girls. Please welcome Dr. حمیرا to the stage.
سلام و وقت بخیر به تمام شما دوستان و قومای عزیز. Thank you for the organizers for this fantastic event and for having me here. It's truly an honor and privilege to be among the wonderful Aussie Kalmas. Tonight, as we gather here to honor the extraordinary Dr. Sima, I want to begin with a very personal memory, one that resurfaced from a very old cassette that my family kept. I was about 4 or 5 years old when my grandmother asked me the very typical questions I think all adults love to ask children. She said, when you grow up, what do you want to be? And without any hesitation, within my little voice, I answered, I want to be Dr. Sima. Dr. Sima. And at that age, I didn't understand politics, human rights, or the weight that oppression on Afghanistani women. But I knew one thing, Dr. Sima meant hope. She was the symbol of everything a girl like me in Afghanistan could dream of becoming. Even before I knew what it meant, what empowerment meant, I knew her name. I think there's only one Dr. Sima, but what she represents for generations of Afghanistani girls is immeasurable. She was a light at a time that women were banned from school, silenced, and erased. She showed us that Afghanistani women, or Hazara women, could stand tall, could lead, could heal, and could carve out justice in a world determined to deny it to us. And she didn't inspire us through words alone. She rebuilt lives with her own hands. Dr. Samar created over 130 schools, I think 137 schools, and I saw that Hazara International did a short documentary. In some of the most deprived provinces, in Bamiyan, I believe 57 or 58 schools, in Ghazni, Samangan, Orzgan, Daikundi, and even beyond Afghanistan's borders in Pakistan. She established hospitals and clinics, 5 major hospitals, 37 clinic centers in areas where women had no access to medical care. She built safe spaces for widows, for orphans, for girls who had lost everything. She brought education, health, dignity, and hope that places where despair had settled for decades. These were not just buildings, they were lifelines. For thousands of girls, they were the difference between illiteracy and opportunity, illness and survival, invisibility and empowerment. But as we celebrate her work, it is important to acknowledge a truth that many of us carry very, very quietly. One of the reasons that we struggle to fill her shoes is because of the experiences we, as Hazara girls and Afghanistani women, have had to endure. We face barriers not only imposed by regimes like the Taliban, but also from within our own communities. In the UK, I know many brilliant Hazara women, activists, leaders, educated and full of vision, who became silent in the past 10 years and 20 years, not because they lost faith, but because of the patriarchy within our own society made it impossible for them to continue safely. We celebrate women publicly, but we exhaust them privately. We praise female leadership, but we often fail to protect female leaders. We tell our daughters to be strong, yet we do not create an environment where their strength can survive. This is why I say we cannot all be Dr. Sima. Not because we lack the courage or ability, but because we have not built a community that nurtures women the way that she nurtured the nation. Yet, Dr. Sima's journey also shows us something profoundly important. With resilience, with courage, and with the right support, women can walk that path. But tonight, as we honor her life's work, let this not be only a celebration, but also a commitment. A commitment to build a safe space where women can lead without fear. A commitment to trust our daughters, to let them make their own decisions, to let them dream without permission, to let them grow into the kind of woman who transforms societies. A commitment to guide girls into careers that can shape the future, especially STEM subjects where Hazara women can become scientists, engineers, doctors, entrepreneurs, researchers. Women whose work echoes across generations. And if we truly want to continue Dr. Sima Samar's legacy, then we must begin by changing the environment around our girls. We must create the condition where courage is sustainable, where leadership is protected, where women are not only encouraged to rise, but they are allowed to stay standing. We may not all become Dr. Sima Samar, but every one of us carry a part of her light. Every one of us can continue the path she carved for us. And together we can ensure that our daughters will never again have to ask if they're allowed to dream, but only how far they dare to go. Thank you very much.
چقدر زیبا بود وقتی دکتر حمیرا رضایی در سخرانیشان گفتن، وقتی از ایشان پرسیده شدن که میخوای در آینده چی شوی و ایشان گفتن که میخوایم دکتر سیما سمر شویم. و این جمله نه تنها بیانگر آرزوهای کودکی ایشان بودند، بلکه نشان میداد که شخصیت‌های بزرگی چون دکتر صاحب سیما سمر الهام بخش نسل‌ها بوده است. زنانی که با شهامت، مهربانی و ایستادگی مسیر را برای همه ما و شما هموار ساخته است. لطفاً یک بار دیگر با شوق گرمتان این لحظه پرمعنا را عرض بگذارید. دقایق پیش با خبر شدیم که قهرمان ملی ما آقای روح الله نیکپا و آقای روح الله باران در جمع ما پیوستند. خوش آمدید و امیدوار هستیم از محفل امشب لذت ببرید. Now, to add a musical touch to our evening, I would like to welcome Zahra Jani Mohammadi on the stage to have a beautiful song performances for you all. Please put your hands together and make her feel welcome.
Gracias.